Steel on stone is loud. Armor clanks. Footsteps echo. Yet the medieval battlefield and castle corridor were full of men who survived by not being heard at all. Knights didn't just win with brute force. They won by mastering silence, timing, and control. That's the real survival code history rarely talks about. And if you're serious about protecting your home today, these old lessons hit harder than any gadget on the market. If this kind of forgotten survival wisdom sharpens your instincts, lock in with this channel and subscribe before the algorithm forgets us. Why silence was power in the medieval world. Knights lived in a world where noise meant death. Castles were stone echo chambers. Camps were full of sleeping men. A single careless sound could trigger an ambush or expose a weak flank. Silence wasn't optional. It was trained. Knights learned early that stealth gave control. Control over when a fight started. Control over who panicked first. That same principle applies to modern home defense. The person who controls noise controls information, and information wins. Armor that didn't betray its wearer. Contrary to popular belief, seasoned knights didn't stomp around like walking junk drawers. They modified their gear. Leather padding was wrapped around joints. Mail was tied down with cloth strips. Loose plates were secured. Armor was fitted tightly to reduce rattle. Even weapons were wrapped at contact points to stop metal-on-metal noise. This wasn't vanity. It was survival engineering. Modern lesson. Your home should not announce your movement. Loose doors, squeaky hinges, rattling handles, noisy floors. These are the modern equivalents of clanking armor. Fix them. Silence is not passive. It's built deliberately. Footwork was a weapon. Knights trained their feet as much as their swords. They learned how to distribute weight, how to roll their step, and, how to place their heel last instead of first. Grass, gravel, wood, stone. Each surface demanded a different approach. They practiced moving at night, when sound traveled farther and, honestly, mistakes multiplied. In a modern home, your floors tell a story. You already know which boards creak. Train yourself to move around them. Walk your home in the dark. Learn it the way a knight learned a castle corridor. Familiarity turns chaos into terrain you can control. Using darkness as cover, not fear. Knights didn't fear the dark. They used it. Torches were avoided unless necessary because, light made you visible from far away. Shadows were read like maps. Corners were hugged. Walls were followed. Darkness gave concealment, but only if you respected it. These days, blasting lights on at the first sign of trouble can actually work against you. Light reveals your position. Darkness, on the other hand, hides your movement. Controlled lighting, not total illumination, is what really gives you the edge. Knights understood that visibility is always a trade-off. So should you. Timing, honestly, mattered more than speed. Stealth was never about rushing. Knights waited. They listened. They let guards pass. They moved during moments of environmental noise, wind, rain, distant shouting. Anything that masked sound was used as cover. In modern terms, patience beats panic every time. Rushing through your home when adrenaline spikes just creates noise and mistakes. Pause. Listen. Let sounds reveal themselves. Medieval stealth was slow, intentional, and ruthless. That mindset, it still wins. Sound discipline wasn't just physical. Knights controlled their breathing. Heavy breathing gives you away faster than footsteps. They trained to stay calm under stress, to slow the breath, and to suppress coughs and involuntary sounds. Fear was managed internally, before it was managed externally. This is one of the most overlooked home defense skills today. Calm breathing lowers noise and sharpens hearing. Panic turns you into a beacon. Control yourself first. The knight who mastered his body survived longer than the strongest man who didn't. Weapons stayed close and quiet. A drawn sword scraping a scabbard could be fatal. Knights learned how to draw slowly or remove weapons beforehand. Daggers were favored in close quarters because they were silent and efficient. Long weapons were avoided indoors unless space allowed. So, let's translate that lesson carefully. Whatever defensive tools you choose, they really have to be accessible without making any noise. Fumbling, scraping, or searching around in the dark just destroys your stealth. You know, knights actually rehearsed these motions endlessly. Familiarity, well, it breeds silence. Reading space before entering it, now that's crucial. Knights would pause before doorways. They listened. They checked for drafts, shadows, and even reflections. A room was never, ever entered blind. Corners were cleared deliberately, and thresholds were always treated as danger zones. Modern homes have the same rules. Doorways funnel movement, hallways amplify sound, corners hide threats. Hey, slow down at transitions. The medieval mindset treats every new space as a question, not an assumption. Why stealth still beats strength. The knights who lived longest weren't always the strongest. They were the ones who avoided unnecessary fights. Stealth gave them choice. Choice to strike. Choice to retreat. Choice to survive. Home defense is not about domination. It's about control and protection. Stealth buys time. Time buys options. Options save lives. History doesn't whisper these lessons by accident. It whispers because the smart ones learn to listen. If this episode sharpened your instincts and rewired how you think about protection, hit subscribe, share this with someone who takes safety seriously, and stay locked in with History's survival code where the past still teaches you how to survive the present.